Well, hello there, my techies. I'm sure some of you are interested in upgrading from the Samsung Galaxy S2 onto the Galaxy S3. Now, is the upgrade really worth the money? That's where I come in. I'm here to tell you today whether it's worth your money to upgrade from the S2 to the S3. Let's take a look at all the features that we've got. So let's begin with the processor. What you saw with the Samsung Galaxy S2 is a 1.2 GHz dual-core Exynos system on a chip processor. Now with the S3, there's been a definite upgrade, and what we see is a premium Android device along with a 1.4 GHz quad-core processor. So a definite upgrade in terms of processor. Let's take a look at the build now. So the Samsung Galaxy S3 definitely continues with the Galaxy trend of making their screens bigger and better. The S2 saw a screen at about 4.3, and with the S3 they've headed straight to the front of the pack in the territory that you can still call it a phone, to a screen size that's about 4.8 inches. So this extra half an inch though does come at a cost, because the Galaxy S3 is a bit taller and a bit wider. Technically this phone is thicker, but the thickness is spread out far more evenly than what we saw with the S2. The S2 had a small kind of hump at the base of the phone, at the lower back of the phone, and on the camera lens area, whereas the Galaxy S3 has kind of minimized all this and only has a bit of a bump around the camera area, which is good, and its tapered edges actually make it feel thinner. Now, the Galaxy S3 uses what they call hyperglaze, which means that it actually has a transparent layer on top of the colored plastic. Really not as fancy as some of its competitors that pack a fancy aluminum or polycarbonate unibody. However, the S2 actually just has very plain patterned plastic on the back, and while it isn't as inspiring, it actually tends to look a little bit better than the S3 in my opinion. So while the S2 sort of looks a bit better, we are all about size and screen. So in this case, I would say that it is worth the upgrade to an S3. So now let's move on to display. The display on the Galaxy S3, even though the screen is larger, has a pixel density of 300 plus ppi. Now this compares quite favorably over the Samsung Galaxy S2, which only has 217 ppi. The advantage of going to Pentel, according to Samsung, is that the lifespan of the panel will actually increase over the RGB panels, and the picture quality is even better. Samsung claims that the Galaxy S3's display will actually remain in excellent condition even after 2 or 3 years. The Galaxy S3 also has a really cool add-on, an RGB ambient light sensor. This sensor detects the light around the phone and will adjust the screen's brightness according to what it sees and detects. So overall, I'd have to say that the Galaxy S3 has definitely upped the game in terms of display over the Galaxy S2. Moving on to cameras now. Both cameras in the phones are the same, 8 megapixels with an LED flash. But the camera unit in the S3 does seem quite a bit different, and the differences are not trivial. You'll see the differences right up front in the features. For example, what you see in the Galaxy S3 is that it actually uses its extra processing power to do things like full resolution shot bursts, up to 20 photos. It takes pictures in a 16:9 ratio full res, and it also records video at 1080p, which is fabulous. And it can snap 8 pictures and pick the best one automatically, and also it recognizes faces right after you take the first picture. So these are all features that the S2 doesn't have. As far as image quality goes, Samsung actually has changed the way images are processed in the Galaxy S3. In the S3, the contrast is a bit brighter and better, and they've also made the color balance a tad more accurate. The S3 sees a boost in the green channel, which gives pictures a slightly more different feel than the S2. The Samsung Galaxy S2 and 3 both shoot videos at a maximum of 1080p. Though, as we saw with the still camera, that doesn't necessarily mean it's of the same quality. The interface of both phones is pretty much the same except for the virtual key that's present on the S3. This allows you to actually snap full-res 16:9 pictures while shooting video. Pretty cool. So overall, I would have to say that in terms of the camera, you are actually getting much better image and video quality and a lot more options in terms of how you shoot your pictures with the S3. Alright, so now for the verdict. I would say if you've got the money, guys, go for the S3. It does give you a lot more bang for your buck. You've got better quality pictures, a better display, and by next year it really won't be that old, whereas the S2 will kind of be old and creaky by that time. Alright guys, that's it for this episode of Tech Dolls Review. Make sure you like my videos, post them to Facebook, and let me know what you think by leaving me a comment. That's it for now. Talk to you later.